Yo, what up YouTube? Another video coming up right now. It's your host Damnation, and today I'm going to talk to you about collecting. So you are getting into collecting, so in it, this is your guide, your somewhat unofficial guide to start collecting. And I'm going to tell you how I get into collecting certain items. So first, you want to get into collecting. You don't know where to start. You see all these YouTube videos and all this stuff. You're like, oh, that looks cool. I want to get into that. So the number one thing in collecting an item is figuring out what you want to collect. And how do you figure out what you want to collect? Well, you look at your life. What kind of stuff do you find interesting in your life that you want to collect more of? For me, it's nutcrackers, anime figures, masks, all sorts of stuff for me. Because I find it all interesting. But you gotta look at it. Like, every time I go out, I end up picking up, say, a pen, So pen collecting, that's actually a thing. People collect pens, old pens and vintage pens, they're pens and stuff. Alright, so you look at look what you want to collect. Number 2, research. Alright, researching is the second thing that you need to do when you start collecting or getting into a hobby. Well, not much of a hobby, because the hobbies do a lot of things, but collecting, the hobby of collecting items. Doing your research is going to help you out a lot in figuring out where to start and stuff like that. You come across videos, you look up videos, YouTube, you look up forums, you join Facebook groups, and maybe not join Facebook groups just yet because you're not collecting, but you're researching, you're collecting, you find there's groups that, in your research that share the common interest of what you are collecting. Alright? So do your research, because that's going to make everything much more easier. Number 3, start small. Alright? So when you get into collecting items, you don't want to start off at the higher end, kind of like somewhat of what I do. I'm just backwards that way. You want to start at the lower end of where you're at. The reason why you want to start low is because it'll help you with figure out the pricing, in a sense. You know what I mean? You can figure out where the market is at the lower end, because that'll help you get to the higher market or higher end of what you are collecting. Alright? Number 4, budget. This goes along with starting small, because if you don't start small, you're going to miss out on a lot of the bigger things because you've spent all your money on the bigger items instead of starting and working your way up. So take, for instance, what's a good one? Let's say, what's a good thing to start small on? Let's say action figures, okay? Now, when you start small, what are you going to do? You're going to go to Target, you're going to go, your Walmarts, and you're going to buy, the $10 figure off thing. You know what I mean? Or you're going to, another thing is, alright, so that's starting small. It's in your budget. You buy 2-3 figures a month, let's say, alright, and your collection is going to grow. Alright, so now, let's start with, alright, so budget is going to allow you, or starting small in your budget, it's going to help you start here at the baseline. So you're not getting into the tens of thousands or thousands of dollars at some things require. So starting small, like buying something at Target that interests you, or you know what I mean. It doesn't even have to be from Target, or you know, you can. Let's say you get into anime figures, right? Some people don't want to spend $100, $200, but you know, you buy something like, you know, an EXO figure from Ben Presto. You know, this is a crane game price, but you can buy her for like $25. You know, that's a good start base price. But then you can work your way up to like, let's see, no, like this is, you know, where she's like $100. You know what I mean? Her head's kind of funky. I don't know why her head is like that. Or, you know, you can buy the $200 ones or something like that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, but that's a good start. They're pricing. You can work your way up to, because once you buy, all right, number 2, or wait a minute, 4, 5. I don't know what number I'm on. But the next up, so the next thing, join a group, a Facebook group, a forum. You know, it's buying, selling, and trading kind of groups and stuff like that to help you get into that market. You know what I mean? The individual market, the personal market, the private market. You know what I mean? This way, you get an idea of what's out there, what you want. If you're looking for a certain figure and, you know, you can't find it anywhere, you'll be like, hey, I'm looking for this, looking to buy this. Somebody's going to have that figure. And you can make a deal. You can trade in your budget. You can, oh, I got these figures. This person's looking for this figure. So you can trade, you know what I mean? It really helps. And it helps with your knowledge, too. Because, like, sometimes, you know, let's say you buy a figure, right? And you go to this group and you're like, hey, I bought this figure. What do you think? This is not, oh, looking at whatever. You know, some people are like, oh, that's a fake. Or, you know what I mean? They can help you out to, like, determine what's fake and what's not fake and stuff like that. So it helps you out as a collector in these groups, and it helps the community. Like, hey, there's fake figures being produced of this character. Look out, you know what I mean? It helps the community. It helps the synergy, or whatever you want to call it. All right. So, you know, collecting is one of the easiest things. All right, but you gotta know your budget. You gotta know your item that you're researching, and you have to have and start small. But yeah, you know, it's just collecting can be fun, but it also can be devastating. You know, you get into a collecting hobby and you start collecting all this big priced items. You know, it's just research and budget. You know what I mean? You start breaking yourself. You have to sell stuff off in order to make that money back. You're not making the money back because the figure, the time you bought it, is now reselling at half the price that you bought it for. You know, it's just one of those things where it's just like, that's why you start small, because once you and work your way up, you know what I mean? Like me, I'm into hockey cards. I haven't bought hockey cards in over a few years now, but you know, I know the market. I know I know how to do all that stuff, and I know where I want to go with it. Like every single hockey card I have ever bought has never left my collection unless I had doubles or triples of that card, and I sell off you know what I mean, sell them off. You know, I started in vinyl figures. I don't have any down here. They're upstairs, but you know, I started off kind of big. You know, $200-$300 figures, and I have a nice collection, but you know, I shouldn't have. I should have started small and worked my way up. You know, buying, selling, trading kind of thing, and worked my way up to the bigger items. So you know, my mistakes are hopefully teaching lessons. Is like on case by case. You know, if you know you get into something and you have to spend $1,500 just to get into the game, and buying and selling and trading that way. You know, sometimes you just got to do that, but you know, it's just tough to get into the collecting game sometimes. but it can be fun. It can be really fun. You're out there, like, let's say, because I was thinking about getting into Japanese sofubi, or however you pronounce it. Right? It's old, vintage, kaiju monsters from like Godzilla and Ultraman and stuff like that. I want to get into that. Right? So what I'm doing is I'm doing my research into the thing. I started small. I got a couple of pieces that were like, 60, $50. I mean, that's might be out of the budget, but that's what I mean, is you budget for that. I don't belong in any groups, but what I'm seeing is like, I'm not going to get anything over, those, unless I spend a little bit more. You know what I mean? So, like I said, do your research and know your market. Get into groups. It'll help you out a lot. Know your budget, because if you start off, let's say you have a $500 budget, you can get a bunch of figures for 500. Well, not a bunch of figures. You can maybe like 6 figures for $500, depending on whatever you're collecting. Like marbles, you can go on, but like $500. Now you join a group and be like, hey, I'm looking to trade or sell these, or I'm looking to sell or these to make the money to buy another figure up the chain. All right. Also, another thing to learn about collecting is condition. Condition makes everything, makes and breaks items when you're collecting. It's in sports cards, it's in sports cards, or whatever kind of cards, in any kind of items, antique, toys, everything. If it's the box, is it mint in the box? Like this. I haven't opened it yet because I got to get another case for it. Is it, you know what I mean? Know your conditions, because the conditions drive the price. If, like, say, this is a different Osmonic page. Let's say this was yellowing. You got to learn that yellowing isn't always bad, because yellowing means that this plastic was part of the first run of plastic, clear plastic that goes on packages. I learned that at a toy convention. So it's not always bad, because, it burns the plastic. Sometimes they'll look clear, sometimes it'll be yellowish. It's one of those things, because, that's just how they do it in toy factories. They pump out first, they get the temperature, and then they run the rest. I think they toss out they rip the plastic off, quality controller or whatever, and rerun the product. I don't know how it works, but condition. I'm learning things about that condition. That goes with, but that comes after you did your research about the items that you want to collect and what's out there. You know what I mean? That's your research. But this learning condition, that takes time, and learning while you're collecting. With your budget. Oh, I got $500. I'm going to spend $500 on this figure. Figure A over here, or 4 or 5 of figure A, but it's all not the best condition. So that's where you want to start, is not the best condition. Instead of $500, unless you got like $500 a week or $500 a month to spend on one thing, and I can see getting away with it, and then saving your 2 months worth of things to get a bigger item. That sometimes works, but it's always worked to start small and work your way up to that $500 figure. Because like I said, in some groups, buy, sell, trade, you know what I mean? I'm probably repeating myself a bunch of times, but it's kind of hard to get in that. But yeah, when you get into it and start getting into it, you start learning the condition aspect of it, and start learning that condition makes the price. Let's see what else. So I went over research, figuring out what you're looking for, researching, budget, starting small. You know what I mean? I think that's about it. If you guys have any ideas, you can always plug them down in the bottom. And, let's work this out and help people, figure out what they're collecting. Because collecting is a fun hobby, and it keeps you occupied, and, keeps that excitement going. But sometimes it can be a gamble. You lose some, you win some. But as long as you're having fun, losing money on items sucks. Yeah. You get that with like sports cards and stuff like that, where the hype for one player, especially with hockey, or hockey, football, basketball, blah blah blah. But with hockey, the hype on the players, oh, he went for number one, he's number one draft pick, and his card, whatever, he doesn't come play ever, and he just kind of falls off the earth, and his card goes from like thousands of dollars at the first whatever, but as soon as the NHL season starts and he's not playing, his card bottoms out and goes from like $1,500 down to like $200. Learn your market too. I guess that's another thing, is learn the market for market value, because that'll help if you are getting into the oh, I got this really nice figure, I got X amount of time to, you only have a short period of time sometimes to resell items, but don't get into reselling. Reselling is bad. Stop it. I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's telling me to resell. Don't resell. Don't strike while the anvil's hot unless you are funding to collect another item. Because sometimes if you don't have an item, sometimes selling at the height of an item is worth it to get your purchase for your next bigger item. But not all the times, because a lot of times you're just going to lose your ass. Let's see what else. What else can we add to this collecting thing? But like I said, that's as a community, as a collector's community, or as a community, post what you think is important when you're starting to collect items. Research into what you like. You know what I mean? It's just, let's work as a community. This has been Damnation. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I have a Facebook now, so I'm going to link that in the description. So look it up, like the page. Maybe we'll have some giveaways or something like that in the future. I don't know. But, and at least with, we can go on there. We'll figure it out. But, yeah, like my YouTube or Facebook page, so I can, post stuff on there, because it's dead right now. But, yeah, this has been Damnation. Thanks for watching.